Welcome to another episode of EV Rider. With me is automotive journalist Dan Scanlon, who has joined the EV Rider team. You met him for the first time last week, and he is providing weekly, in-depth road tests of the cars that we get each and every week on evrider.tv on the web. Now, the main YouTube channel is going to stay primarily EV focused, but the website is expanding. And to kick it all off, we have got what I would consider to be one of the muscle cars in the plug-in world, and that's this 2025 BMW M5. And Dan has had this car now since last week. Dan, give me a quick synopsis. How are you liking it so far?
This is the German equivalent of a Charger Hellcat. 717 horsepower, 0 to 60 in launch control in 3.1, 3.2 seconds. It is 500 plus horsepower from a 4.4 liter twin turbo gas engine. It is also 150 plus horsepower out of the electric drivetrain. Put them together with all-wheel drive, and this baby moves out. And it is a stunningly quick and well done car, and you can scare the you-know-what out of 4 of your friends.
Well, and of course, what's nice about a plug-in hybrid is you can have the efficiency of an EV during the week and then play on the weekend. So for example, when you keep this in EV mode, you're going to get somewhere around 25 miles of pure EV range, and it's rated at more than 50 miles of miles per gallon equivalent. But it's got a Jekyll and Hyde personality. You can knock that rating all the way down to about 13 miles per gallon of premium fuel.
I've had a low of about 15 MPGe. I've had a high of 27 MPGe. That's in hybrid when you're hypermiling it, when you're driving it carefully. But I just slipped it into sport, and as you can see, don't even have the sport exhaust on. You can see how it moves out. But even in the non-sport mode, the road mode, it is quick. There's 500 plus horsepower here, and it's stunning. The steering is nice. The suspension is beautiful. So you feel the weight. If you put it in comfort suspension mode, it gets a little bouncy over some bumps. But even in the sport plus suspension mode, it is not that abusive. And I love that. This is a lot bigger car than the first M5 that came out. Some of the traits that are still here, you can get it with the carbon ceramic brakes, which will stop you on a dime. You can get a version that will do 190 miles per hour on a racetrack if you so desire. It's just an amazing car, but this car is a half inch to an inch taller, wider, and longer than its predecessor. The nose of this thing is so aggressive. There's deep intakes. It's sitting on these amazing hand-cooked pieces of rubber, and the carbon ceramic cross-drilled brakes are as big as some economy car tires. And it even does a nice job with the single pedal regen of giving you back a few miles. I gained 5 or 6 miles one night going home from work by just backing off and letting the regen, as we're doing right now, kick in. It's really an efficient machine, despite the fact that there's a V8 up there.
And this is a nice way to sort of have your cake and eat it too. You've still got that V8 muscle car power, but it lets you get the feel of an EV. And in this specific space, I would guess that maybe the Porsche Panamera is the most direct competitor, and then in the pure EV space, something like a Audi e-tron GT or a Porsche Taycan would be a good comparison, or a Tesla Model S.
And the Taycan is a stunning machine, very quick. I guess I do love the fact that it gives you a sound effect. They put the Taycan in an anti-echo chamber and record all the gear noises so that you're actually hearing a synthesized version of what the car is doing. But I'm sorry, I'm a gearhead. I got a V6 Italian sedan at home. I like to hear that.
So what are some of the things that you don't like about the M5? Anything?
I find the gas mileage is atrocious, but again, it is a performance car. I find that you do feel the weight, at least the weight is under us and in the center of the vehicle, so it handles very nicely. I love the fact that you can get the tail out if you so desire. I don't like the fact that there's dozens and dozens of different drive modes.
What I'd say there too is the BMW audience, I think, is going to appreciate just how much you can dial in, how custom you can make it. For a lot of drivers, this is overkill, but for somebody that's truly into performance cars and maybe was raised on a manual transmission, they're probably going to really enjoy how much they can fine-tune the feel of this car.
I wish that maybe it was a little simpler. That said, there's an M1 and an M2 button that you can pre-program for what you like most. So you could program, as I have done, a very simple economical mode, and then my M2 I've got programmed with a little sportier, so that's good. The trunk is huge, the seating area is huge, the rear seat legroom is wonderful.
As you would expect, the interior of the M5 is a very comfortable place to be. It starts with the usual, what you would expect in a competent luxury automobile. You've got your wireless charging pad, another pad over here for passengers, cup holders that are illuminated, by the way. You've got all your primary controls right down here, including BMW's excellent iDrive, which means when you're driving, you can go with muscle memory if you don't want to mess around with the touchscreen for things like navigating through radio stations or navigation. You do, of course, have a storage cubby here. It isn't overly deep, but you could definitely get some knickknacks in there. And it does have a redundant volume control, which is a nice touch for both the passenger and the driver. Our M5 came with the carbon fiber solid roof, but if you prefer that open, airy feeling, a panoramic fixed sunroof is also available. In fact, it comes standard. You know, one of the things I think some pure EV makers could take a lesson from is how BMW handles the charging display. When you walk up to the car, it gives you a big, bold display of the charging percentage. Not every car does that, surprisingly. So you've gotten an idea what the M5 is like as a performance car, as a big V8 European Grand Touring car. But how is it as an actual EV when it's in EV only mode? Well, first off, there's not really a true EV only mode. So the way the car is set up, if you stay feather light on the accelerator pedal, yes, the M5 will stay in EV mode for, in this case, an indicated 30 miles of range, although it's only rated for 25 miles of EPA range. Like any EV, or in this case plug-in hybrid, or any vehicle, it all depends on how you drive it as to how much you're going to get. But I don't have any doubt that you would get a honest 25 miles of range in most conditions on this plug-in hybrid. But here's the thing, because it is a plug-in hybrid that's geared for performance as opposed to real economy, if you want to see EV only driving, you're gonna have to be gentle on the throttle. Now, I did spend some time on the interstate. I stayed with the speed of traffic and it did stay in EV mode. But when you're getting on a ramp, if you feel you need to pass, if you lay into the accelerator, it's going to kick the V8 on. So the nice thing about this is if you've got a 10-mile commute each way, you can make it easily to work and back on EV power all week. Or if you got a longer commute and you're fortunate enough to have charging at your workplace, same thing.
There's not much I don't like about this other than $150,000 plus price tag on this vehicle. And incidentally, the only version of the M5 you can get is this version, the plug-in hybrid. There's no gas only, there's no EV only, this is it. So you like it or you don't like it. And you put a battery pack and an electric motor in it, and you combine the two and it's a marriage made in heaven. But this car, if I put my foot down a half inch, we're in the next universe.
So Dan, give me your final thoughts. What's your wrap up of the M5?
This is the best of both worlds. I can have that V8 rumble and I can have that electric acceleration, and I can put them together or I can have them separate.
Now, we've only really scratched the surface of the M5 here on the EV Rider YouTube channel. For a much more in-depth look at the car, be sure to go to evrider.tv on the web, where Dan Scanlon has a very thorough road test and review of the car. He spent a full week with the M5, so he really got into a detailed look at its handling and its performance. All the specs, you'll find them on the web at evrider.tv. If you enjoyed this episode of EV Rider, please go ahead and subscribe to the EV Rider YouTube channel. Give this video a like and hit that notification bell so I can bring you more road tests like this one and more adventures in EV, driving, and motorcycling. We'll see you again soon, and thanks so much for watching EV Rider.